My name is PJ Calapa. I am the chef and owner of Scampi and also the Spaniard in the West Village in New York City. I grew up in Texas on the border with Mexico. I moved to New York to learn how to cook. Japanese Wagyu started to come in and I had never seen beef with such marbling. As I said, I grew up in Texas. I'm a red-blooded, steak-eating Texan, as if you will. And I had never seen beef like that, and was so in awe of the texture and the flavor, and the marbling is insane. We're gonna start off with the beef. This beautiful beef. The marbling is insane. This beef, it handles like butter in the hand. Not only the texture, but it also, the fat melts at the same temperature that butter melts. And so we need to be quick, and you need to work with a very cold product. The optimal is a nice big square piece that we can get a nice sear on. This is essentially the piece we're gonna cook. We'll go ahead and put that aside. Start with a pan on the stove, touch of olive oil. We'll go ahead and pop our garlic in the pan, a bunch of fresh thyme. These are manila clams, found all up the east coast of the United States. Let those start to heat up. As the garlic cooks a bit, in a ton of white wine. As clams are naturally salty, you need something to sort of balance the salt. So let those sit back and just pop. So we start off with a little bit of crushed yellow mustard seed, a little bit of cracked black pepper, toasted coriander that's also been crushed, and then this is a rosemary salt that we make in the restaurant. We go ahead and mix that up. We'll take our piece of beef, beautiful, beautiful beef, season that very liberally, as there's no way to season the inside of the beef. We're gonna slice it thin so that every one is only gonna have a little bit of the spice on the outside. We'll go ahead and season every side. So we'll go ahead and clean a few of these manilas now. We can just pop the meat right out of the shell. Next up, we have our razors, another variety of clam, also from the Northeast. So it's super clean and you don't have anything to worry about, any sand in there. That is our reduced clam stock that we're gonna set aside. Let that cool for a bit. So we have our clam meat that we're gonna chop. Like I said before, we do leave the garlic that we roast the clams with. We do leave it in there. It adds a nice texture. Just check our beef. Make sure we're not getting too hard of a sear. It's looking really beautiful. I did pull the pan back a little bit. It was getting a little hot. We're gonna go ahead and slice our razors now. These guys are super fresh. If you could see before when I was cleaning them, they were still moving. We start with our chopped clams that we just chopped with our chopped garlic inside, olive oil, diced shallot, raw. We do some raw diced fennel, a bunch of fresh chives. We're gonna put a fair amount of lemon zest into here. That clam stock that we made earlier and then reduced, that's gonna give us this ultra clam taste. And so this is our manila clam vinaigrette. Last ingredient we add is the raw razor clams. Clam and clam stock that all obviously live in the ocean. We don't have to add salt to a lot of places in this dish. We're gonna pull our beef off. So you'll see we're gonna go ahead and slices like butter. And then just a touch of olive oil at the end. That is it. So the Japanese Wagyu, as I said before, the Tataki is my favorite. I love just the beautiful light sear on the outside with the sort of raw texture in the inside. I do like to let it rest for a second so that it's not ice cold. That's the way I found the best way to have the Wagyu. When you're handling your Wagyu, you need to, as I said when we were in our cooking demo, it needs to almost handle it like you're handling butter, right? You definitely want to keep it cold at all times, obviously refrigerated, and also wrapped in plastic. It will oxidize. What most people don't know is that in meats, it's usually the fat that rots first. And so obviously the fat content is very high, so you do want to make sure that it's kept very, very cold.